Gamescom this week, and we're playing the wildcard tournament.
I feel hyped. I'm a bit excited about all this stuff going on around, people screaming.
We won the Turkish Championship, but it's not success for us. Real success for us is to win the wildcard tournament and go to Worlds.
We would be the first team to actually make Worlds for OC if that did happen, so that would be huge.
We are going to show our skills on a big stage. We are very excited about that.
We're here to win, of course. Wildcards and get a Worlds, that's the dream.
I'm really ambitious about this, and I really want to win the Gamescom.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the League of Legends International Wildcard Qualifier, coming to you live from Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. I'm Evie Supporter, joined here by Joe Miller and Martin de Fischio-Lunge, where it's a special press day, so while the show is not open to the public yet, we have a lot of action for you as 3 of the top teams from around the world will face off against each other, and one of them will head to Worlds to represent their region. Now let's take a quick look at what this week has in store. First up, it's the International Wildcard Qualifier today and tomorrow, and then on Thursday, the European LCS Summer Playoffs continue with a 5th place match between the Super Hot Crew and Millennium. On Friday, our 2 semi-final matches have Fnatic facing Roccat and Alliance taking on SK Gaming. The losing teams will then face off for the 3rd spot at Worlds on Saturday. And on Sunday, it's finals day as we crown the European champion and the #1 seed heading into the 2014 World Championship. Now remember, all LCS playoff series are best of 5, so a lot of action.
Yeah, and it's pretty scary to realize every single moment that happened in the last year simply comes down now to this week at Gamescom here. Qualify for Worlds or secure your spot in the LCS if you're playing for the 5th place. And it's been a fantastic season. Fail to qualify now, and you just have to work even harder next year to qualify.
And what a fantastic place to do it as well. Gamescom's always mega packed here, as you mentioned, press day today. So tomorrow we're going to start filling this place out completely. And a really amazing stage, I think, for the playoffs.
Yeah, great stuff. And that brings us to today's International Wildcard Qualifier between Dark Passage from Turkey, Oceania's Legacy Esports, and a Russian force from the Commonwealth of Independent States. We'll begin the tournament with a round robin where each team will face both of their opponents twice. The top 2 highest ranked teams will then play a best of 5 to decide which team will make the trip to the 2014 World Championship. Now let's take a look at the teams who are competing. First up, it's Russian Force, formerly Hard Random, from the Commonwealth of Independent States. And, well, they've come here with a slightly altered roster. Only their bottom lane is intact, so we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, some exciting news out of them, though. Darker said on Twitter he's playing mid lane here. You might remember him for his time as a support in Gambit. He's going to be playing mid lane instead. He's going to pick some cool champions today in that mid lane. So we might be in for a little bit of a surprise there. Next up is Australia's Legacy Esports, of course, representing Oceania. And now, they were the surprise qualifiers, really, out of their region. Obviously, qualified as Avant-Garde Ascension. They beat Immunity, who were here on this stage last year to try and qualify for Worlds. They didn't manage it. We'll see if they can this time around.
So at least from watching also Legacy's games, they are insanely aggressive, and they seem very confident as well going into the tournament here. So maybe they can surprise a team like Dark Passage, who is our last team, of course. The Turkish champions, they've won every single event in Turkey the last year, and they are the #1 team in the region by far, like 100% the #1 team. They have a new support now, but he already has some synergy with Holy Phoenix. They will speak English instead of Turkish because he's from Norway, but still, I believe they are the strongest team here.
All right, we'll see what they can do. Now, for more information about these teams and players, head over to lolesports.com and be sure to vote on the teams that you think will win before each of today's matches by visiting the schedule. Also, head over to Twitter and let us know which international wildcard team do you think will win the spot for Worlds and why. And Martin, you sticking with Dark Passage?
100%. I was actually checking their solo queue games here before we went on air, and they've been completely destroying solo queue in Diamond 1, EU West, rank 5 as well. They've met teams like Sparta, who's the #1 rank 5 team in Europe at the moment, destroyed them on 25 minutes. So they are my clear favorites for this tournament.
I think the outside favorite here, though, is Russian Force, because no one's really expecting them with these substitute players effectively to do so amazingly well. But if you actually look at their profiles, these are all Diamond 1 Challenger level players that could be a surprise package this tournament.
Yeah, we hope they show us something surprising as well. Be sure to send your answers to @LL Esports, and we'll share some of your responses on air later today. Now, and with all of the cross-regional action in today's games, be sure to highlight your favorite plays and send those to us on Twitter as well with the hashtag #BigPlays. We'll highlight those as the teams battle it out. Now it's nearly time to kick things off, so let's send things over to the caster desk for Game 1.
Thank you very much, Shox, and welcome everybody. I am Lee D-Man Smith along with Trevor Quickshot Henry, and it is time to get the international wildcard started with Oceania's Legacy Esports versus Turkey's Dark Passage. Now, coming from a smaller esports scene, Legacy is here to put Oceania on and their aggressive teams fight-oriented meta on the map.
We're at Gamescom this week and we're playing the wildcard tournament.
Our team's called Legacy Esports, and we got here by playing in a big tournament in Australia.
They're going to represent the Oceanic region in Cologne, Germany.
So we're representing Oceania, which involves Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Islands surrounding them.
I think our region is very underrated. There isn't a lot of exposure as well, so getting us on the map would be very good.
We're looked down upon, I think, by other regions tremendously, and we're trying to change that.
So this will be our first international event, and I'm so stoked. It's so good.
As soon as we landed, we were ready to play, and so yeah, I don't think jet lag was a problem for us.
We'd like to play really well. I think that's the biggest thing for us. We just like to put on a good showing. I don't want to say we would play like the Koreans because that's a bit of a stretch, but I suppose we play in a similar style, a little bit messier.
I feel like the OS meta is actually quite a bit different to Europe. Like in particular, they're really passive, and we just want to fight all the time.
I like to sit back at top and then teleport in to help team fights and help win the game through objective control, and I always like to just jump in, like kill stuff.
Yeah, we're just really excited to play and show the world what we have.
Every video gamer sits at home, like this is what they want to do. They want to make something of it, have an opportunity for a career, just like, go overseas and make something of what they're putting hours and hours into.
Realizing that you can travel overseas is insane. It's just so much fun.
For me, I think we can win. If we don't win, I'll be disappointed.
I think there's no reason that we can't win.
If we win this and then we qualify for Worlds, like getting OS out there would be really good for such a small region.
And that is what it's all about, trying to qualify for the Worlds. And it's great to see a team like Legacy over here. Obviously, they weren't the big favorites. They're walking around with gigantic smiles. And as soon as I saw them, they came up to me, stereotypically, "Good day, mate."
I definitely think the team wants to represent their region the best. Something that you take away from that video, every single one of the players is just like, we want to do Oceania proud. We want our region to climb the ranks. And, some strong words saying every other region looks down on Oceania. We'll see if they can step it up here this weekend.
They've never been represented yet. Let's see if they can be. Legacy Esports, of course, are the surprise qualifiers coming from the Oceania region. They qualified under the name Avant-Garde Ascension, you just saw in that video, beating out last year's international wildcard team and heavy favorites, Team Immunity, in a very close run finals 3-2.
Yeah, so that final, actually, no one expected Legacy to come out victorious because their opponents, Team Immunity, were the clear favorites. The games were played a while ago. It was back on June 22nd. So I'm interested to see how much the team has prepared for Gamescom, considering they've had over a month to train, research, practice, and look into their opponents. So we'll see if they can adapt here on the Gamescom stage.
So let's check out the team. Starting out in the top lane, it is Minky Whale. He was pivotal in helping Legacy qualify, going huge on Shyvana in that 5th and final game that got them here.
Yeah, he played a lot of Jax back then as well. Little less Jax being seen these days. In the jungle, it is Carbon. He does favor Elise. He is one of the shot callers for the team, especially during the early stages of the game and that laning phase. We'll see if he can get his hands on Elise.
Gave us a wink as well. In the mid lane, it is Choo Choo's. He's played a variety of champions. Check it out, 10 in 12 games throughout the qualifiers. That's going to make him really hard to ban out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The AD carry is Cardred. I actually feel like he's an overly aggressive AD carry sometimes, so he's going to need to make sure he has proper positioning to avoid giving up unnecessary deaths. No arcane shifts into the enemy team early on. I promise I've never seen him do that before.
Yeah, we heard Nif do. They're talking about rocket jumps into the enemy. Make sure they don't do that. Of course, finally, it is their support. It is EJim, who, of course, tries his best to keep up with his AD carry Cadred. He picked up 150 assists along the way, though, so he manages to do well.
Yeah, I agree. So just very quickly, last year's Oceanic squad, they put up a good fight. They pulled up some off-meta picks, which didn't work out for them. And I want to see what level of preparation Legacy brings to this match, because they themselves have said the Australian, the Oceania meta is different to EU and the other regions. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, we'll see how they compare, because, of course, their opposition is Dark Passage, and they are the reigning champions of Turkey, winning every single event in 2014. They won the winter, they won the spring and the summer leagues this year, as well as taking down their rivals Team Turquality 3-1 in the Turkish Grand Finals, which played out in front of a packed Ulka Sports Arena with over 9,000 fans cheering them on. They will not be fazed by the crowd here. Of course, they tied for third place last year here at Gamescom in the International Wildcard Tournament, but they've had a couple of roster changes since then.
Yeah, very small ones, but you know, Dark Passage, they are one of the more established teams taking part in this year's wildcard tournament, and their local scene is showing very strong growth as well. The players themselves just moved into a gaming house, and that roster swap you were talking about is Touch. He's the team's new support player, and his Nordic roots mean that the team now speaks English, but he's been playing with Holy Phoenix for over a year in duo queue, so he'll be very familiar with his partner's decision-making.
So let's check out those teams, of course. So starting out in the top lane, it is the man that scored a pentakill here at Gamescom last year. It is Fabulous.
That's good. They don't want to fully commit. They're forcing Pain to come at them.
And we do see the Cataclysm is down. Certainty and Ben are doing the best they can. Crescendo's going to lock up the back line of Pain Gaming as Dark Passage. Pick up one, pick up two. Fab's trying to find more kills as he gets bubbled in the air. That is a triple kill. He's looking for number 4. Cell Division is going to be available. That's the quadra kill. Are we on for the pentakill? The blobs are there. Are they going to time it? This may be the second pentakill as Fab's looking for it. Pentakill! I think I'm going to have to rename to Pentakill Fairy, because every time I get a chance to do play-by-play, it manages to happen. Great Pentakill.
Do get a lot of them.
We'll see if we can do it again. Moving on, in the jungle, it will be Crystal M. He's got some fantastic early ganks. He tends to focus on the team's duo lane to get Holy Phoenix rolling. And after doing some research and speaking to the teams and players, it's been brought to our attention that this man never smiles. So please keep an eye on those player cams. We have to put this myth to a test.
Yeah, see if he stays serious throughout. Of course, in the mid lane alongside him is Naru, who also makes his second appearance here as he played last year. He's played incredibly well throughout the playoffs. Let's see if he can deliver on his big stage. Of course, check out those stats. Pretty impressive. 59, 17, 65.
Very impressive. Even more impressive is their AD carry and star of the team, Holy Phoenix. He couldn't attend last year because he was under the age of 17, so he's got something to prove this time around. 88 kills in 9 games. That's just showing off.
Yeah, he's absolutely been demolished in solo queue as well. We just checked him out before we came on, as Deficio said. Alongside him on support is Touch. As we mentioned, he is the new man to the team and has been duo partnering with Holy Phoenix for the last year. He replaces Trail Bannon, and of course, who is currently serving military service for his country.
Yeah, so just very quickly on the team, they've got some of the most experienced players of all 3 teams taking part of this event. They attended the International Wildcard Tournament last year, as well as having competed at several other LAN tournaments, including DreamHack. So they're going to need to draw from that experience if they want to win the berth to the 2014 World Championships.
So before we get things underway, let's check out your votes over on lolesports.com, where you've picked Dark Passage as the favorite. It is only 66% though, and then see if they can start this tournament out with a win. It is a big, big start. A lot of nerves, I think, for both of these teams, honestly, coming into this one. Legacy, you know, they were talking about Dark Passage, and actually they've been watching each other. They haven't practice against each other. None of these teams have scrimmed against each other. They've been here for, I think, over a week now, just practicing here in Europe, playing 5v5s in the duo queue. You guys at home maybe have come up against them at some point, but as far as we've heard, Dark Passage have been wrecking people.
Yeah, and it's great to know that the teams have been obviously hitting the rank 5s. They've also taken on the challenger teams, the LCS squads. For me, the biggest question on Legacy is what champions are going to run. Because when they were winning the tournaments back in Australia, the champions that they were using were the likes of Ziggs, the likes of Nidalee, long-range poke. Jax in the top lane was a massive favorite of Minky Whale, and the champions are slowly falling out of favor. I mean, Ziggs is still there, but the meta has shifted a little bit, and we haven't seen them since the 22nd of June. So that unknown factor of what are they going to play. Shyvana top lane has to be a consideration. Either ban or early pick if you're Legacy.
Yeah, we'll see how the bans work out. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of the International Wildcard about to get underway. Pick and bans immediately. Holy Phoenix targeted. Tristana was a champion. He has played heavily in solo queue. They go towards Rengar now, taking down away from Carbon. Nidalee is a ban out. So, of course, that's been played more in the top lane these days. We'll see if Fabulous has been maybe picking that one up. Considering, well, no surprises on that one. That's a standard ban now. Maokai, we expect to see that either ban or first pick right now.
The one thing I do want to note, if you contrast the picks and bans, or the banning phase rather, from Legacy and Dark Passage in comparison to the likes of LCS bans, a lot of the LCS bans are focused around the mid lane. Here we're looking at top laners, jungler, AD carry. Holy Phoenix is far and away the carry for Dark Passage. So I like the fact that they've taken Tristana off the table, but the question is, what do Legacy want to first pick? Elise is available, Rengar's taken off the table, Lee Sin's taken off the table, so it might be a jungle first pick if they want to get something comfortable for Carbon.
Well, with Lee Sin taken away, as you mentioned, it may well be a first jungle. Dark Passage taking their full allotted time to decide on this final ban. It is going to be casted in. He's not going to sneak through, of course. We'll be having a few changes in 4.14. We're not there yet, though. We're still on 4.13 for this tournament. And the first pick is Alistar. Will that be a top lane? We expect it will be. We've seen it in the top. Impact's been playing it. Of course, we saw it in EU West quarterfinals last week and all the Challenger games. So could also be picked as a support. We saw that a few times, but expecting the top lane.
Yeah, we'll see where Legacy decides to put that particular champion. And, you know, the Cassidy ban is somewhat default, is somewhat standard. Choo Choo's actually got his hand on Cassidy in game 1 of their regional qualifiers for Oceania. But we still don't know enough, because my gut is actually leaning more towards the support role, primarily because Shyvana is still up and available. Legacy banned away Nidalee, who could make his life very difficult, and Minky Whale, well, he's a huge dragon. He carried hard in game 5 of that series. So we need to see how the rest of it plays out. But both of these teams really taking their time in this first game of the International Wildcard.
Oh, it's going to be the Duo Q partnership getting their comfy picks, it seems. So Morgana, Lucian will be the first choices for Dark Passage.
And of course, Lucian didn't feature at all last week. When we were looking at the Challenger series and the LCS quarterfinals, the one time Lucian was played by Millennium, it didn't work. Creatine really struggled. Everybody else has been training towards Kog'Maw and Tristana as your go-to AD carries. So we've got to keep a very close eye on Holy Phoenix and how he handles himself on this Lucian.
Well, you just mentioned it. Kog'Maw has been the other go-to champion. Straight away gets locked in. That's going to be countered on that one. If Zilean gets locked in here, it seems it has been, and that will be possibly, yeah, it's got to be Choo Choo's. It has to be.
I think so too. Now, with seeing a Zilean lock-in, as well as Kog'Maw and Alistar, I still feel like this is going to be support Alistar for Kog'Maw, along with Zilean there in the mid lane. You've already got some very good peel and protection and revive for your Kog'Maw, so if Legacy are going to go for a protect the AD carry type of composition, they're pretty well set up for it at the time being. But they need to lock in a few more champions before we're 100% certain where Legacy are putting their champions.
Yeah, Naru, very confident in his pick. Locked that Xerath in instantly. Has some very good stats again in solo queue while he's been in EU West. We saw some of those out. Jarvan may well be the next fallback. Crystal M has been playing a lot of Jarvan. So it's a champion that honestly is almost becoming the default in the jungle these days.
Yeah, you know, with the changes to Lee Sin and some of the hits that the sort of trifecta champion of junglers that Lee Sin and Lee Evelyn have been taking over the last few patches, Jarvan is rising to prominence, and it is something that we're seeing, especially in Europe, more and more LCS teams picking up, because the challenger scene here in Europe has been running him for a very long time. You know, we've been seeing Jarvan dominate the challenger level for several months. But look at Ejim at the moment, very serious, lots of talks going on, and there's still those flex picks on the side of Legacy. They could completely throw us off the loop and put a Zilean support, Alistar top lane, or something similar, but it's not going to be the case.
Well, it is going to be a Alistar support, because obviously Aurelia will be going in towards that top lane. It does mean Elise will be in the jungle, so that cow is going to be a support this time around.
So if you look at the Legacy composition, you've got two champions that can be the front line, in that Irelia, in the Alistar. And when you combine the utility that Zilean brings to the table with the bombs, the speed up, and the revive, anybody that gets a little caught out of position can obviously come back. The one thing that I think Legacy need to be very careful of is a Jarvan can dive quite deep. You've got great range on Xerath. So if Legacy are put in a position where they're somewhat clumped up, Cataclysm can be very, very impactful, and they can't afford to take poke. The poke damage from Legacy is very reliant on short-range bombs from Zilean and not a lot of damage from that living artillery. Contrast that to Dark Passage, and Xerath can run amok with those Arcano Pulses.
And looks like it's going to be Renekton for Fabulous in that top lane. So going with the old lane bully up against Irelia, not a bad line matchup.
No, it's really not. And I think Dark Passage's team composition is a little more well-rounded. They've got strong engage, they've got a strong front line, they've got good protection for either Lucian or Xerath, and the mobility of most of the champions is very, very strong. The one thing that Dark Passage needs to be aware of is that mid-game sort of power spike that Legacy are going to be looking at. If and when Kog'Maw gets his Trinity Force and Blade of the Ruined King, and you see Zilean getting maybe a death cap fairly early on, plus the power of Irelia and Elise in that mid-game, I think Legacy are going to play super aggressive immediately as that laning phase ends to take advantage of their compositional strengths.
Yeah, it's something we talked to them about, and he was like, we heard you know, you're really aggressive. And he's like, yeah, it's actually, we never realized it until we got here in Europe, and you guys seem to play really passive, so we'll see if their aggressive style works out this time around. Which team do you guys think has come out ahead in Champ Select? Tweet us hashtag LGC win for Legacy or hashtag DP win for Dark Passage. At LOL Esports, and of course we'll check throughout the game.
The aggressive playstyle from Legacy can be both positive and negative. If you get ahead while playing aggressive, yes, that's how you can close a game out. But the problem is, if you miscalculate or you don't have proper vision and warding, that instantly backfires on you. And something that I've noticed from all three of the teams in the wildcard tournament, in terms of the VODs that I've been watching leading up, the vision is sometimes lacking. So for Crystal M on Dark Passage, especially on Jarvan, he tends to go mega ham, mega early. So he's got to make sure he's got the vision to justify and back up those decision-making.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game one getting underway in the International Wildcard Tournament live from Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. If you guys are at home watching, can get to Cologne, well, maybe able to try and sneak in today of all days. It's sold out every other day, so unfortunately, you could get in if you're press. I use the term loosely because every year more and more press seem to get in. But nevertheless, maybe it just means Gamescom is getting more popular. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Is there going to be any level 1 engagements? EGM just sees Dark Passage straight away in that river, so they know they have company and immediately ward out the tri-bush to make sure they do not get close enough.
Yeah, got to be very careful if you're on the side of Dark Passage. You never want to walk into a multi-man knock-up from Alistar. But on the same token, the long range of Morgana Dark Bindings can be beneficial. For the time being, it doesn't look like either team is setting themselves up for an invade. Legacy appear to be playing defensively. They might go for a red buff trade themselves as we get closer to that sort of 1 minute 40, 1 minute 50 mark.
Yeah, we can see Neru obviously at the side, but he is in between two wards, so they have full vision of him. And it seems that Legacy do really want to go for the invade. It seems that Dark Passage are looking to do the exact same as well down that bottom half. You can see Crystal M just waiting off at the side, so expecting a double invade, both the red buffs here.
Yeah, we'll see if they just end up trading. When you've got the lane swap in favor of Legacy, obviously it reduces the risk of the swap because you're going to be able to pull Kadra towards you if you need him. So no movement on the side of Dark Passage yet, but I do still anticipate that this will be a result in just an end-up trade because, again, you're not going to see Legacy unless they really bootleg it down to their red buff, being able to defend their own buff.
Yeah, there's no one down there at the moment, so red buff start for Carbon in the opposite jungle. Blue buff start for Crystal M, and as you mentioned, he's going to switch around. We'll see, though, whether they fancy having a little poke towards Naru, who has got flash heal. Fabulous will get spotted, actually. He's going to come straight around, face checking in towards them. They didn't go aggressive. They managed to delay there. Cocoon was not fired off from Carbon.
So already there's a difference in play style. If you look at Legacy, they've got the buddy system going on. Minky Well's hanging out with Carbon. He's moving around the jungle, much like the LCS teams that we're seeing when you go for those lane swaps. Sharing the experience, getting in the jungle and getting your champion a little relevant. Fabulous is trying to jungle by himself. He's currently at the Wolf camp, and Crystal M had the support of Touch.
Ooh.
They're going into the mid lane. Binding and knock-up. Those are the only ways to kill Choose. If Naru can get a stun, it'll make it much easier.
Well, he's going to try and get away from this one. Touch not going to fire off the Dark Binding. He's quite safe. He's going to go the long way around back to his tower. So first game didn't draw out any summoner spells.
No, nothing this time round. It was a fairly weak attempt, to be fair. There was a lot of minions in that mid lane, and Choo-Choo's did have his flash available. So we're going to see some more of this buddy system in action. Who's going to smite the big Wraith? It does go to Crystal M, so small advantage, and he gets out cleanly as well.
Slides out swank points for that one, of course. EGM has been waiting a while in this bush to see if he can get something. There is no ward coverage, but they do, of course, realize that Kadrid is all on his own there, so they know that a roaming Alistair is something you have to be careful about.
Yeah, and something that you need to keep your eye on as well. It doesn't look like Kadrid is pushing that lane. He's currently frozen it around about the river. We'll get our eyes in a second or two, but you can see that Holy Phoenix and Touch, they're playing much more aggressively in their lane. They've pushed it all the way to the tower. They're already getting auto attacks down on Oceania's bottom outer turret. Whereas Kadrid is trying to freeze the lane on his side of the river. So if Fabulous ever returns to lane, he's going to be a little further behind. And Fab is already 11 CS down and 2 levels. So Dark Passage's early game, for their strategies not working out in favor of their top laner.
This is a very risky dive if Dark Passage go for it. They do manage to land the Dark Binding on Carbon. Minky Well, don't think any of them are fancying pushing out. Maybe they're just going to reset the lane. Of course, minions will come back in there, but it does seem that Crystal M will back off. Fabulous manages to clear out the Wraith camp. He's going to have to back off. Still only level 2. Meanwhile, Minky Well is up to level 3, so gaining an advantage in that. Now we do see the buddy system continue very long, actually, approaching the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, very, very late into the day. We'll see if Fabulous sticks around with Crystal M, because it appears to be the case. But I just think that's a mistake. I just think that on the side of Dark Passage, they may have overestimated Renekton's ability to clear and sustain in the jungle, and it has put him behind. He's got a CS disadvantage, and he's still a level down. He's just hit level 3, whereas Minky Well is level 4, and I'm going to double check his experience. He's halfway to level 5, so quite a big difference between those two top laners.
They're going for touch. They managed to get the headbutt on him. Doesn't quickly put the black shield down. Is going to get pulverized. Black Cocoon will go down towards him. Can he get away from this one? Pulverized will be back off cooldown shortly. They're going to try and force out a flash. He doesn't bite. Instead, they're going to turn it back around. Minky Well flashes across, goes on towards Holy Phoenix, and does manage to lock on towards him. Teleport coming in from Fabulous. Cocoon will get fired off. Fabulous just coming from base. Meanwhile, down the river, we see Naru coming across as well. Minky Well goes in. Pulverized on towards him. Naru going to get on towards him. Minky Well will go down now. Jim going to get focused on. The ultimate comes out. He gets himself a double kill. Naru picking up big. And that is a serious, serious problem as 3-0 for Dark Passage.
That is a massive swing. The gold was even going into that fight, and now there's 1,500 separating the teams. We talked about Legacy's aggression. We talked about how they want to pick fights, and they want to get in your face, and they simply overcommitted. Carbon and Egypt didn't have the damage to kill Touch, and Touch, he's still at his flash. He saved it. He was waiting for Holy Phoenix to come and back him up. All of the work that was done to keep Fabulous down is just completely counterbalanced because he jumps in here, helps his team secure 3 kills, and while all this fight was going on, the 2 mid laners got into a juke in the river, which Naru came out ahead as well. So 3 kills in favor of Dark Passage, and a very, very strong start punishing Legacy for their over-aggressive moves.
Crazy stuff, and Naru returns with almost an Athenes and Holy Grail already complete. It's just got the 900 gold completion to go, and he'll be done on that one. Meanwhile, we do see a Tear of the Goddess coming out as first item for Choo-Choo's. That's going to set him behind a long time.
It really will. He needs to get some support of his teammates. So he's going to delay that mid-game power spike we talked about in picks and bans. Another item that we see picked up from Carbon, he's gone for the Quill Coat on Elise, and it's not exactly unusual, but it's not what we're used to seeing at this level of play. So that Quill Coat is going to give Carbon some more tanky stats and allow him to be on the front line a little longer, but we need to see how they make use of it. Invade from Legacy. The last time they picked the fight in Dark Passage's jungle, it didn't work out. But their numbers are still in their advantage. I mean, every single member of Legacy is here, as opposed to 3 members of Dark Passage.
Yeah, 4 coming in. Choo-Choo's just off the side, so they could go 5-man. While this is all happening, they're leaving Holy Phoenix completely untouched in the top there, and he's going to push on towards it. It will be Carbon that gets the blue buff taken away. And that does mean, of course, Holy Phoenix and Touch are going to get some free time hitting this one. Mickey Whale's going to teleport up towards the top lane. Should be able to clear out Blade Surge around those minions and quickly clear out as much as he can. Good dart binding from Touch there to catch him during that Blade Surge. He knew exactly where he's going. Fabulous going to get caught out here. He's in trouble. Carbon comes in and gets the kill.
It's not often you see a cow and a spider killing a crocodile, but that was just very well executed. Legacy landed the crowd control and instantly killed Fabulous. This may lead to a tower as well because there is a very big minion wave with them, but bringing it back.
I don't know, man. I've seen some of them spiders in Australia. They're pretty big. I wouldn't mess with those things.
I'm pretty sure Customs wouldn't allow it into Germany, to be fair, if they brought one of their pets along with them. So yeah, first tower was secured.
First tower secured, and top tower defended by Minky Whale as well. Here, Choo-Choo's going on towards Naru. Will get the bomb down. So fairly even trade between those two for now. Choo-Choo's getting a little more poke. That will be the top tower going down, so it's going to be 1-for-1 so far. And a 1,000 gold advantage to Dark Passage. Choo-Choo's just going to get
this might hurt.
Simple bomb, a slide. Not sure if he's going to get the rewind close enough. No. Oh, he does. No, not quite.
But look at the damage on that bomb. Even with the 150 shield, we'll get to that in a second. Naru, here comes the cow from the side.
Manages to get the slowdown on towards him. Flash burn from Naru. That was all they needed.
So Legacy have found some more aggressive plays that are working for them. The blue buff invade with 5-man ended up securing them the buff. Now they are also punishing Dark Passage for being a little out of position because of the lane swap that Dark Passage initiated. It allowed Fabulous to get tower dove, and he is still 20 CS behind. You have this lane bully in Renekton. If he had gone toe-to-toe with Aurelia, could have made his life difficult, but Legacy initiated the lane swap early on, and Fabulous fell behind. But look at the swing in the votes. Dark Passage losing some of the strength of their initial support.
Yeah, a couple of the Aussies are all awake right now watching the Strayers perform. We'll see if it works out for Legacy. They are currently behind in kills and gold, and Dark Passage have themselves an advantage. We'll see if they can stick with it though. CS-wise, between these two AD carries, Cadred has fell behind, but not too far. He's got 1 assist, where opposed to Holy Phoenix's 2. And of course, he's going towards the Blade of the Rune King versus the Trinity Force. So we'll see whether that plays into Holy Phoenix's advantage, because he should complete that item first.
In theory, the question is, how does he deal with the mobility of Lucian and the dive threat that Jarvan and Renekton offer? Because for the time being, Legacy have had a few aggressive plays, but they have been punished in their strength. Holy Phoenix has been jumped on by Minky Whale.
Yeah, Minky Whale going aggressive on this one. Has got his ultimate available. Has his Holy Phoenix. He's going to pop it. Get the culling down on towards him. The minions blocking just a mount. Minky Whale should be able to sustain and lifesteal off the minion wave that was there. Meanwhile, down in this bottom half of the map, everyone is all over the place right now. Fabulous has managed to get the ward down, but Choo-Choo's got to be careful.
Yeah, Choo-Choo's was trying to surround Fabulous after moving through his own jungle, but Fab gets out alive. The warding from Dark Passage, I think that was mostly just a warding trail or safari, but massive damage onto Touch despite having very little ability power. Choo-Choo's with a Tier and an Athene's is completely proving me wrong, because in picks and bans I thought his item build might have led the team to go towards this mid-game power spike, but with the Chalice of Harmony and Tier, Choo-Choo's is really looking for the mid to late game power spike and trying to get a huge amount of utility down.
Yeah, we talked about the difference, of course. Fabulous, he's now 2 levels behind still, because while this has all been happening, Minky Whale's just been off soloing up against Holy Phoenix for a long period of time, and it's actually put him behind. That could be a big problem if we to move into this team fight. Remember, teleport not available for Minky Whale right now, so if Dark Passage were to go for it, repel range not enough for Carbon. Remember, that got changed ever so slightly.
Yeah.
And Legacy looking to try and create a play. Crystal M going to catch on towards Egypt. Dashes out of the side of that one, sidesteps it well, should be safe. Hasn't got level 6 yet, remember, so hasn't got that 70% ulti. Instead, he's trying to bait them all in while the rest of the team gather.
Well, we'll see what Legacy can do. They're trying to turn the aggression around on Dark Passage, but Naru has arrived and he's got a very, very long range. Teleport's available for both top laners, and I want to see how Legacy play. There's a knock-up.
A lot of damage on Carbon. That's the jungler low on hit points, and I think Dark Passage have done enough to maybe secure the dragon here. Legacy are going to back away. It looked like it could well just be the mid lane instead.
I'm really happy you mentioned the Dragon, because I feel like Legacy, with the numbers advantage they've had in the bottom lane, and the fact that they've been roaming a few times with Elise, may actually have had an option to go for that Dragon earlier on. But because Carbon went tank with Quill Coat as opposed to Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, didn't have that additional damage, and neither of these teams have put much focus on the Dragon at all. They've been roaming around. Dark Passage has been responding to Legacy's blue buff invades, and that has been the central focus for Legacy. They're trying to keep Naru shut down. And Naru may find himself a spider to squash. That's a lot of damage onto Carbon. He's going all in.
Well, it repels away. He's going to get caught. Oh, sidestep the final hit. That may well have been just enough to catch on towards him. Instead, it does force them away. Now Dark Passage are moving towards the river. They are going towards that Dragon. Of course, Fabulous has got teleport available, is just a level behind, but he's got to keep Minky Whale busy in that top lane.
Important to note, Rite of the Arcane from Naru is not available. Cataclysm is also on cooldown, so the longer this Dragon takes, the riskier it might be for Dark Passage. It looks like Legacy are trying to respond, but I think they're going to be too late. They simply didn't move quickly enough, and this has allowed Dark Passage to secure the Dragon relatively uncontested.
Yeah, they were just trying a bit of a lucky shot, I think, to try and see if they could snipe something away. Crystal M taken pretty low on that one. Looks like blue buff will also be picked up by Naru this time. Remember, it was stolen away by Legacy last time around. So, Holy Phoenix going aggressive on Cadred here. Quickly turning this around. Cadred all on his own. He's got to be careful. Dark Blinded has to flash away from it there. Nice play from Holy Phoenix.
Very well played between Holy Phoenix and Touch, actually. If it wasn't for Cadred flashing the Dark Binding, he would have been taken out by the culling. And that's the type of Lucian play that we wanted to see from Creatine last week, but didn't. Have to play aggressive, have to make use of the mobility in Lucian to get in your opponent's face, and obviously punish Legacy when they don't have the support with their AD carry.
Naru takes a bomb. He's got his Athenes completed though, so shouldn't be too worried about that. Choo-Choo's meanwhile almost got it ready to go. Just the final items to complete, along with that tier stacking out for him right now. Holy Phoenix hasn't been back to base for some while, actually. He's got 1,800 gold on him around about now, so waiting to get that Blade of the Rune King complete. Meanwhile, Trinity Force has now been picked up by Cadred, so he's completed the item first, only down to the fact that Holy Phoenix is yet to back.
Yeah, Holy Phoenix is going to complete his Blade of the Rune King the moment he recalls. But if you just compare items between the mid laners again, the makings of Athenes and Holy Grail for Choo-Choo's, he's gone for such a power ramp-up build that it looks like Legacy are going to be happy to try push this to the late game. Kog'Maw's obviously going to scale fantastically. The support of Zilean makes Elise and Irelia even more powerful. And they just need to be very careful with how they play team fights, because the dive power of Renekton and Jarvan is very high. So 2v2, top laners and junglers. Carbon's about to find Crystal M. Let's see who comes out on top.
Naru coming close as well. Bright the Arcane should be just about in range. Instead flashes away quickly. Carbon realizing the danger and steps away. Choo-Choo's was making his way towards the top lane. So Dark Passage, they are starting to invade, they're starting to push.
They're going to go for Minky Whale.
Aggressive ward placement, they're going in for Minky Whale. Crystal M does slide through, gets the slowdown on him, a good cocoon threading through from Carbon. He finds himself locked up in the Cataclysm, repels away just in time. Is it enough? No! Remember, he just burned that flash, he will not be able to get down and towards it. Fabulous takes a couple of tower hits there. Minky Whale may well be in trouble. The mid laner Naru coming across, he could fire off on towards Minky Whale. Could land the stun here, just through the trees, doesn't quite go for it though. Instead will manage to step away. Now Choo-Choo's is there, it should force them back.
Yeah, we'll see what damage Choo-Choo's can put down. It was all on Crystal M if they wanted to tower dive, but he was very low on mana. So flag and grab opportunities not really available to him, and Dark Passage continue to accelerate ahead. Over 3,000 gold in the lead. They've got 3 kill advantage. They've got a tower advantage. They've got a dragon advantage. So all of the objectives and metrics are in favor of Dark Passage. We do see Touch and Holy Phoenix going aggressive. Egypt, he's looking for a play. He's got the knock-up.
Manages to get the pulverized headbutt in towards the tower. Touch is in trouble. He goes down. Teleport, though. Fabulous is going to join the fight. He's going to go towards Cadred. Will catch him out there. Headbutt pulverized will be back off cooldown very, very soon. Fabulous in trouble. Flashes away. Will they follow? Repel not quite close enough. And Fabulous gets away just about a 1-for-1 trade.
1-for-1, and that's an AD carry for support. So again, Dark Passage coming out somewhat ahead. Fabulous, who was controlled very early on, has now got himself 3 kills and assist and that Sunfire cap. Choo-Choo's is going to take some pain, but he's got his ultimate available, so Smart play from Naru not to go all in.
Just straight aggressive from Naru there. He literally neither had vision, but straight aggressive play. Choosing to go passive while Naru went full on aggression and came out with half the hit point advantage.
And I think if you just keep looking at Dark Passage's playstyle, they are putting emphasis on objectives. They have got a 2v3, but it's still going to be an advantage of Dark Passage for the time being, because Legacy are starting to fall behind. They haven't made very big pushes on the towers. And I want to go all the way back to the initial lane swap. When Kardred was alone in that top lane, he opted to freeze. He opted to hold the minions on his side of the river, as opposed to trying to push. What if he had gone more aggressive? What if he had tried to take that tower down? Maybe Legacy wouldn't be 5,000 gold behind, which is where they find themselves right now.
This actually goes back to something we talked about way back at Worlds when Gambit refused to push the lane while everybody else was doing that. We'll see whether it turns around to backfire on Kardred, tries to get a shot down on touch. Dark Binding lands on EGM. Not going to worry too much
Everybody's
about that
coming
one.
to the party, D-Man. This is going to be a massive fight.
And Holy Phoenix is the starter. He's in trouble. A great pulverize from EGM there. Manages to catch on towards him. Fabulous. He's locked up. Not going to be able to get out of this one. Or is he? Slices and dices his way. Crystal M, he's in trouble. Bomb will go off. Now on towards the next target, which will be Touch. Fabulous with the Dominus running. Will try and get away. Touch flashes through. The bomb will not be enough to take him down. And actually, Legacy, they're not going to get any objectives from this one. But will they find the mid lane? And Naru getting chosen on here. You can see Fabulous. He's already taken down pretty low on this one. EGM, good stun control on towards him. Does pop off that ultimate though. That will give him a 70% reduction. Naru still running, catching eyes on towards him. Kardred, that will give them vision. He's going to speed himself up, gets that heal down, and will be safe. Looks like Legacy, they want to go for the mid turret.
EGM flexes his muscles and gets a 3-man knock-up onto Dark Passage before Naru could get in range. And that was a very, very good play. If it wasn't for EGM's knock-up, it may not have been enough time to focus Holy Phoenix. But look at how overextended Holy Phoenix was. The rest of Dark Passage were backing away. The rest of the team were in full retreat, and your AD carry was on the front line. So very, very strong initiation for Legacy to grab themselves a couple of kills. I think it ended up being 2-3 towards the end of it. And as we jump back to live, Choo-Choo's has been taken down.
Yeah, Choo-Choo's been taken down, and that opens up the Dragon for Dark Passage. Legacy are moving in. Remember, the AD carry, Holy Phoenix, is in the top lane. No way to get involved in this one. So risky move by Dark Passage. They knew they got themselves a kill, but they do want to back away. It's going to be a 4v4 as Naru gets involved. Starts putting damage down. Good hit on Carbon once again, but Pinks are getting clear, but they're leaving themselves exposed. Holy Phoenix will take this tower down before anyone reacts.
Yeah, he's got a massive minion wave behind him. It looks like Legacy have prioritized the Dragon over the tower. As the game is progressing, Dragon will be worth more gold. And truthfully, Legacy are keeping themselves in it, but they are still 4,000-5,000 gold down, as they have been for a while. This was the kill that Naru managed to get on Choo-Choo's. 2v1, and they're going to get it through Chrono Shift. 3v1, actually. Choo-Choo all aboard the Dark Passage hype train.
Yeah, just showing the crowd control they have there as well. So well worked for them. Legacy now back in the mid lane. See if they can take this tower down, but it's going to be very hard to push against the Xerath. Minky welcome around. He's found Holy Phoenix. He's going to be able to dash across into the golems and give up that red buff. Will he come around for another bite? It seems that he will not. Happy to just take the golems.
Yeah, we need to see how Minky Well decides to itemize from here on out. He's got that Trinity Force, but I do expect him to go more tank.
See that Sheen proc there on Kardred on Naru shows just how weak he is if he gets caught out of the side there. Legacy, they've got a lot of damage. They've got themselves a split push going on again in that top lane. We also have ourselves a pause. So, not too sure exactly on the reason for that one. We'll find out in just a moment. It's certainly not Dark Passage, so it looks like it is Dark Passage, actually. I just saw the referee coming in, so it seems that it is on the side of Touch. Maybe it's just a touch too much.
We're about to find out, I'm sure. I do want to talk about the item builder we are seeing from Carbon on that jungle Elise. He's got himself a Sight Stone, as well as the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. So going tank, utility, vision-oriented Elise, it is very different to what we used to seeing.
Yeah, it seems that it was indeed a touch too much, because he's got a keyboard issue. So
Yeah, your smug grin, D-Man.
I know, right?
Wait, what we heard from production. So we'll see if we can fix that keyboard for Touch in a moment.
I just want to talk about while actually this is all going on. You can see, of course, Naru has been in and around that mid lane. He's still there. He's got 2,500 gold on him.
Yeah.
He's waiting to go straight back and get that Rabadon's Death Cap.
So this is actually a trend that Dark Passage have been doing all game long. They do sit on a large amount of gold while moving around, and that could also have been part of the reason they didn't pick that big fight at Dragon a moment or two ago, because they had a large amount of unspent gold. But the biggest thing, if you look at this pause screen, 1 tower for Legacy in 20 minutes, in contrast to 4 towers from Dark Passage. It really feels like Legacy are chasing the buffs and the kills more than they are chasing the objectives. And if you go further back in competitive metas, it reminds me of like old Season 2 days, where it was about controlling the buffs, it was about containing your opponents, as opposed to playing the map.
Well, we are about to get back into the game, ladies and gentlemen, so here we go, and pause.
You jinxed it.
Rebind it. Rebind it, that's what he's going to do. He just went, oh, sorry, didn't mean to do it, let's unpause again. And away we go again.
That was a touch too much.
That was a little bit. Ejim actually popped his ultimate there. He got focused and targeted, so that ultimate is down. That's a pretty important one when you see Dark Passage. They want to go aggressive here. Minkyuel is on his own. He's been left to take down that turret, so that'll be the second one of the game for Legacy. So if Legacy can actually hold them in this mid lane, which they have done, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, very well played, actually, because Legacy have decided to go aggressive when they had the top laner pushing, as well as a very large minion wave in the bottom lane. The problem is, the wave clear from Naru is so strong, they can't get on the tower.
I say it so often. Them AD carries, then he needs to hit the goddamn tower. He didn't. He actually went for kills instead, gets tower aggro, trying to get some damage on Naru, and instead just getting a couple of shots on towards that tower. You've got to do that. That is your job. We'll see how it works out and see if it backfires on them right now, because Carbon's taking a hell of a beating right now. Cadred in trouble as well. They are going to try and drive this one forward again. Minkyuel looking to flank, and going around the side this time. Dark Passage got to realize it's a potential for a 3-on-5 situation. Holy Phoenix using the Cullen, just massaging the back of that cow's shoulders, but they are forcing Legacy back.
Yeah, Carbon got so low from the poke and the damage Dark Passage were putting out, he needed to back away. So Legacy, they do get 1 tower out of that extended siege in the mid lane, but they don't get much damage on the mid-outer turret, nor the bottom inner turret, because Holy Phoenix was able to roam around and clear that wave out very, very quickly.
Just look at that, the gold, it just shows Dark Passage clawing more and more away. It's been held fairly even for the last sort of 2-3 minutes, but they have been the ones dictating the pace of this game. Legacy, have they got this mid-game spike? Is it going to work out in their favor? Are they going to be able to force Dark Passage into something they don't want to do? Because I feel right now they are happy to just hold the defense. They've got a Zera. They can clear those waves for days.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, Legacy's itemization did not go the way I was anticipating. With that tank, Elise, and with Choo Choo's going for the very, you know, sort of scaling, expensive, late game oriented items with Athenes, with the makings of the Rod of Ages, potentially Deathcap, we'll see what that, not Rod of Ages, rather Archangels, or potentially Deathcap, depending on what the blasting one becomes. Legacy, they need to get some more control in these team fights, because as it stands, they have been punished more for their decisions than Dark Passage have. Very big minion wave working on the bottom and top lanes in favor of Dark Passage. So we need to see who handles those from the Legacy squad.
At the moment, they're just holding strong in this mid lane. Not really pushing each other back, just clearing waves back and forth. Again, Minkyuel off the side. He's got a wave that's going to push in Legacy's advantage as he rejoins the fight back in this mid lane, because Dark Passage are slowly but surely clawing their way in towards his tower. Something they have had a couple of hits on. Remember, they got a lot of hits on that bottom tower as well. So with that gigantic wave, I'm wondering if Dark Passage is just biding their time just to quickly rotate straight down to that bottom and join that big wave as it pushes in.
Yeah, I think that has to be the game plan if you're on the side of Dark Passage. The question is, do they want to tower dive? You do have very powerful divers with Jarvan, with Renekton, and the potential safety of that Black Shield, but they haven't been in a position where they've really been able to tower dive accessible. Touch gets caught, and it's Ejim that's going to start things off. No real aggression, it's just looking for wave clear.
That may well be enough, though, just to hold it off there. Ejim comes back in. Oh, Crystal Meth goes in towards him. Can he go towards him? Captain will get away with this one. The Ignite running. Cadred should be able to get one more hit. The Ignite is not quite enough to take him down. Minky Whale chasing on this one. Will be able to play Surge in there. The bomb on towards Fabulous has to pop the Dominant to try and get out of this one. Egypt continues to chase. Head for Pulverize off cooldown, but that Black Shield will stop him in his tracks. Choo Choo speeds himself up. He can get a bomb out towards Fabulous. No, a great stun comes out from Naru. Now it's going to be Holy Phoenix just dodging him out the side. He will be able to dash away. Blade Surge gets on towards him. The slow from Minky Well. They try and turn it around. A great Pulverize gets into Holy Phoenix. So low, but he manages to pick off one. Can he pick off the second? Egypt trying to kite him around there. Nobody else is with him. Egypt's in all sorts of trouble. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it is going to be a kill for Carbon on towards Touch to support. They're going to try and lock him off. Choo Choo's is going to come around the side there. Egypt is still alive, keeping himself healed up, but they are backing away in the top lane. They're going to try and take advantage and push the top turret.
Very well played from Holy Phoenix, and this is why we keep talking about the fact that he is the hard carry for Dark Passage. Take a look. Cadred pushing middle lane. We see Choo Choo's on the retreat. He manages to sidestep all of the rights of the Arcane, and that team fight really just went awry for Dark Passage. They tried to force a tower dive, and it did not work out for them. On the side of Crystal M, he got melted, and actually, if Cadred had landed the Living Artillery, the Ignite tick would have killed him. So this was the second half of the fight that we didn't catch, and it was Carbon and Choo Choo's just chasing Touch and Naru down. I just feel like it is a fairly simple repel. Actually quite smart from Carbon. Gonna get that last auto attack down, and then looks to cocoon up Naru on the side.
But you gotta wonder, if they'd have stuck together, they may well have benefited more from that one. The split off may well have hampered them. Dragon is back up, and everybody is looking to fight. They are all looking to brawl. Let's have a look across ultimates. Well, Soul Shackles is down, but that is about it. Right there, Arcane also not available, so it's actually Legacy with the advantage coming into this one. Oh, Holy Phoenix caught out again. Quick head for Pulverize comes out from Egypt. Pops his ultimate. Quick 70% reduction. Holy Phoenix getting dived on by Minky Well, but look at this. They're calling massacring Legacy on towards them. They will manage to get one kill. Cadred just over the side. He is free hitting right now. Fabulous in trouble. Choo Choo's will use the ultimate on himself. Fabulous goes down. It's a double for Cadred. Choo Choo's gets across towards him. Cadred's got to be careful. He doesn't get picked off by Naru, and he will escape. It's a 2-for-1. Both junglers down, so nobody wants his Dragon.
And so crucially, Cadred's the one that got those double kills. He's 3-1-3 after the fight. Choo Choo's was trying to pull aggro from Dark Passage north of the fight and forced himself to use Chrono Shift just to stay alive. It ended up working in the advantage of Legacy, but simply put, Legacy was split up. They were in this like 3v2 scenario, and Holy Phoenix in a near perfect spot to get all of the stacks of the culling off. The problem is, because of the short attack range on Lucian, he's not able to continue over auto-attacking from over the wall. So that allowed Legacy to actually come away with a victorious team fight in front of the Dragon Pits.
And if right, the Arcane was up for Naru, he could have picked off 2 more there as well. You saw that Ejim got away with nothing, and Choo Choo, so they could have both been focused out. Close fight so far, and it's actually drawn the gold a little tighter now as Legacy start to win out some of these engagements. It's down to 3,000 gold. Dark Passage start out the Dragon once again. Cadred, sorry, is a long way from the fight this time around, as is Choo Choo, so Dark Passage have a big positional advantage.
Yeah, and very importantly, Legacy are actually getting some towers. So they're getting some map presence, but we need to see how they challenge another straight-up 5v5. Previously, I think a little bit of positional mistakes from Dark Passage allowed Legacy to come away with the 2-for-1 trade. This time around, this is just a straight-up brawl. Every ultimate is available on both sides of the fence. And I actually think that's the wise call from Legacy. They can commit, but in a straight-up 5v5, the power of Jarvan and the AoE from Naru is high.
Touch caught out. He goes down. That's a second as well as the Crystal M gets taken down. Choo Choo's taking all of the killing damage at the moment. Naru tries to pop up right the arcade. Good dodging from Choo Choo's as he goes down. That's going to leave the mid lane completely exposed as Legacy chase on towards this one. Fabulous taking damage. Carbon, you've got to be careful. That's a big crocodile you're wrestling with, but they will force him away, and that's got a minion wave. They're going to go in. They're going to take the inner turret.
If anyone can wrestle a crocodile, it's going to be the Australian team. But the initiation power, the team came out of absolutely nowhere. nowhere. They popped the Talisman of Ascension, they got the speed boost down from Choo-Choo's, and they were bouncing onto Dark Passage before Dark Passage could react. So 2 members of the team got knocked up, and just very, very good single target focus from Minky Well, from Carbon, from Cowdred, just bursting out 2 members of Dark Passage. I did not anticipate the speed of that engage, because look at the speed that Alistair comes in at. He's motoring at 1 mile a minute. And Minky Well does such a good job of zoning away sort of Naru and Phoenix as the rest of the team actually ended up getting the kill. I think that was very smart play from Legacy. Well executed. It definitely caught me off guard.
And something that is working massively in Legacy's favor is the fact that Cowdred is 5-1-4, while Holy Phoenix, who we were touting to be the superstar, is only at 0-1-5 right now. He really needs to get some of those kills on the board that Fabulous has picked up.
Cogmore was available, and he picked Lucian Morgana, first round pick for Dark Passage. Lucian did not work out for Millennium. For Creatine, who is one of the better AD carries in Europe, and it's just, Lucian is somewhat falling off the tracks in the AD carry role.
Oh,
so, Legacy, they found Touch. He's in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to flash away. Should be able to get away. That bomb will go off, but I'm not sure if it's enough. Minky Well gets on towards him. The ultimate running. Choo-Choo's gets the bomb down. Oh, that heal, is it going to be enough? Oh, he saves himself. Grissalem, oh, he's got out. And again, E-Jim is there. Holy Phoenix, main focus. Cowdred gets on towards him. He'll go down. No, he gets away. Fabulous will go down. Minky Well finished off the AD carry round the side. Then Naru now getting locked up. He's in trouble. Bomb goes down. Rewind on. Choo-Choo's gets stunned out. Not quite able to finish this one off. But again,
that's a flash.
They've got themselves 2. Choo-Choo's flashed on board. He will get touched. He's going to get Naru as well. It's going to be a double straight away. And that's a 4-for-0 for Legacy. They turn and run for Baron.
They're going to get the Baron, and this is the aggressive play that the team has been talking to us about. Legacy all in, all the time, and E-Jim, somebody needs to erect a flag in his name, because he is fantastic. Multiple 3-man knockups. Look at this, over the wall, bang, 3 members again. I cannot count the number of times that E-Jim has set up a victorious team fight for Legacy just because of his initiation power. Very, very well played, and you can see why he got 150 assists in the Oceania qualifiers.
Great work from Minky Well, using the Blade Surge to dash onto the minion, get her on the side, and quickly stun up Naru, which obviously gave him the kill there. The heal, of course, the resurrection onto Choo-Choo's will keep him safe. So, Baron for Legacy. They now have the gold lead, and this is a big, big turnaround considering how far behind they were.
Yeah, and it's the first time all game. They've equal on towers. They're now significantly further ahead in kills, and you just feel like Legacy have hit that spike they were looking for. It took Choo-Choo's a long time. He has his Archangels completed, Seraph's Embrace completed. He's got Athenes, he's got Void Staff. There's a Randuin's on Minky Well, Negatron, Trinity Force. You've got even more tanky items on Carbon. So, it's not the game plan I had anticipated for Legacy, but they are making it work. Because as they've hit their power spikes, as they've hit their item thresholds, Legacy have now been turning around those aggressive plays. Initially, they were losing them because they simply weren't strong enough to compete with Dark Passage. Now they are, and it's very convincing. This is an uncontested tower. Dark Passage are caught napping.
Yeah, having to push that one down. I don't think Dark Passage fancied fighting for it because he was down to such low hit points already. So, Holy Phoenix, they really need him to get going right now. He's got that Infinity Edge completed. Fabulous gets a quick... I'm not too sure what the actual weapon is that Aurelia uses, but he gets bonked on the head with it nonetheless. Fabulous, so taking some damage. Actually happy to tower dive. Remember, he did complete that Randian, so can take a couple of tower hits. Look at this, going around the side. E-Jim fancies it, will get stunned now. It's going to have to pop that ultimate. They're throwing everything at him, and that way will be too little, because again, that 70% damage reduction is huge, and Legacy just take the tower.
Every single time, one more hit. Dark Passage focus all of their attention onto E-Jim's Alistair, and he just walks away. I mean, yes, it did cost him an ultimate, but that is the 6th tower of the game for Legacy. They are now knocking on the door of Dark Passage's inhibitor steps.
5 towers without reply so far against Dark Passage. They were 4-1 down and now 6-4 up. Of course, they have got that Baron on, so every fight that Dark Passage takes has to be well thought out. Choo-Choo's spots out where that damage is going. Cocoon does not land, so Carbon has to repel away, and actually none of that damage caught on towards him. They're off at the side, they're getting the hits on. This is exactly what I wanted to see Cowdred doing earlier. He is hitting the turret's going to go down. In him now down. Fabulous trying to pull the damage down, but gets locked up. Chain CC'd, he's not getting out of that. That bomb will be enough to take him down, and they're going to move on towards the inhibitor. Dark Passage are in trouble here. Legacy are looking strong in game one.
Dark Passage did not want the team fight against a team with Baron. And as they were sitting very hesitant, the very aggressive Legacy on the tower forced Fab to go in. But very, very good chain CC from Legacy. They locked up the Crocodile, they wrestled him to the ground, and they took him down. Legacy are not stopping yet. They've got a minion wave in the top lane. Siege minion's about 50% HP. And look at Minky Whale. He's just zoning away his opponents. He's been doing a good job of that every time the fight happens.
Absolutely. Gets in their faces, forces them back, buys Cadred all the time he needs to just shred down yet another inhibitor turret. The Culling doing absolutely nothing from Holy Phoenix this time. They're happy to back out. That Baron buff will wear off in 20 seconds time, and Legacy have just left Dark Passage's base in tatters.
The decisive change in objective focus now in the second half of the game is a breath of fresh air, because Legacy put so much emphasis on killing and buff control earlier on, and now they almost disregard chasing the kills in favor of getting those inhibitors. With super minions in 2 lanes, it's very difficult to see how Dark Passage are going to contain their opponents. Legacy can just play the map now, wait for the supers and push that bottom lane. It looks like that's the plan. They were going to move them way up, and there's even a minion wave building up in the bottom half there.
You know, talking to Legacy, both of us were earlier, obviously, before this game got underway. They were very open, very honest of talking about, you know, they feared Dark Passage. They would seen what Dark Passage really, they've been specking them in their 5v5s and keeping their eye on them, seeing that they've obviously been doing really well, wrecking some of the EUS teams, while Legacy, of course, also have done well, but not on the path of Dark Passage out. But it turns out that they're aggressive, and look at that. Look at that gold swing. That is incredible, really. And the fact that they were 5k behind and they've swung it to now 5k in their favor. Or, well, in fact, it's 7,000 in their favor right now.
Yep.
It is such a good turnaround and a great comeback from Legacy. Obviously, there's a lot of Oceanic fans out there at the moment. Of course, the Australians watching this. I know there's Pastry Times out there in some bar watching this one. So them guys at home, they're going to be cheering on this team. And the Turkish team, well, let's not forget, it's a round robin. There's a lot of games to play today.
Yeah,
5 more matches out following this one.
It's still too early to put the shrimp on the barbie if you're an Australian fan, but I'm sure if they keep performing this way, it might work out.
Carbon in trouble. Gets pancake. Crystal M takes him out, but Carbon will pay the price. Crystal is going to get taken down there. Let it go in. Mickey Whale went too deep on that one. Dark Passage took him out, but a super minions on the Nexus turrets. That's going to buy Legacy time. Cadre's going to come in, and he's going to have to dodge out that Dark Binding call to choose. He may well get caught out right at the arcane, but he got his ultimate off in time. He will resurrect himself. Only Phoenix fans as it flashes away, and Legacy should be able to escape free here. They're going to have to run for their lives, but it is enough for them to get away. They've got the speed up from choose, and they're just buying time again in the base. Fabulous has to go back and deal with super minions.
Legacy caught way too many Dark Bindings. This time around on the Siege, they were locked up long enough for the damage to get put down. They haven't stopped. They've got super minions. Remember, multiple super minions auras affect each other, so it stacks. If they can keep the super minions stacking up and pushing, it's going to be difficult for full tank Fabulous to clear them out. He simply doesn't have the damage to kill him quickly enough. That's why Holy Phoenix went up. That's why Holy Phoenix used the culling. But Legacy have lost some of that momentum because of the failed siege. They needed to play safer in that scenario, wait for multiple members of Dark Passage to be away, and then go for the tower. They didn't, they got caught, they got punished.
They lost a few lives. They managed to steal away the blue buff, though. And of course, that Baron is up in 20 seconds time, which will be their next focus. They took it easily last time around. Super minions are going to still push, but those inhibitors are going to be respawning shortly. Not going to be up in time, but you can see Dark Passage, what they're doing. Keeping those super minions, shoving them back down the lanes to buy themselves time. There's the middle one respawning. Top one will follow in around about a minute's time. And Legacy have to play this one very carefully.
Yeah, and if you look at Dark Passage, they've only got 2 damage threats. They're relying on Holy Phoenix and Naru to put all the damage down. So the moment you lose one of those players in a team fight, it's almost an instant victory for Legacy.
They get straight on towards it. That's a Baron. That's gone down. No doubt about that one. Right, the Arcane was available. No, didn't even fancy popping it to get some vision and try and pop off some shots in towards that pit instead. We'll see how they hold out. This is going to be a really tough defensive job for them.
It will be. And, you know, full tank Renekton, if he had gone Blade of the Ruined King, would have been more of a threat to Minky Well, would have been more of a kill threat to Cardred if he was jumping on the back line. but for the time being, he's just looking to stand and fight. So Fab, no teleport available. He's peeling away from top lane, and we look at Legacy. If they get caught by the CC, they're in trouble.
Flash from Fabulous. He flash engaged there. Crystal M managed to lock them up nicely as well. Minky Well uses the ultimate. That will be the AD carry going down. Choo-Choo's just taken low at the side, but Kadran is still free to hit, free to do the damage. Getting focused on there. Goes in towards Fabulous. Is it going to be enough? It's a back and forth. Fabulous gets on towards him. Naru gets the kill and holds out. Choo-Choo's gets the kill on Fabulous. It's a 1-for-1, 2-for-1 trade, so far for Dark Passage, but the inhibitor is still being hit. Minky Well dodges out the side. Choo-Choo still available. That ultimate cooldown is so short. Just as again the inhibitor respawns, they take it straight down and they're onto the Nexus turret.
Legacy don't look like they want to back off at all. They do need to hang around another 30 or so seconds before that top lane inhibitor respawns. Remember, it took him a little while longer to pop that one last time round, but Minky Well, he's going deep.
He wanted to get on towards Naru there, just waiting for that stun to be fired off again. They go towards it. Holy Phoenix the target. Cocoon does not land. Legacy are playing a dangerous game trying to finish this game out so quickly.
Yeah, they need to be very careful, and I think wisely back away. They were relying on the region of Baron to keep them somewhat sustained, but they do win the fight, and they do get another inhibitor down. And if you look at how that team fight played out, Ejim now on the sieging power is somewhat less effective. Ejim has not been able to land those multi-man knockups that we've come to expect. Naru just being a little bit of a scumbag and delaying those recalls from Legacy Esports.
Yeah, we saw the right the Arcane go down and just fires it off. They're going to try and shove out this mid lane. Against Super Minions, of course, Ejim, who has been, for me, one of the MVPs of this match. He's been absolutely landing their pulverizers perfectly. Probably the best, honestly, Alistair support we've seen in some time, I think.
I would definitely say it's an impressive performance. It definitely was responsible for pulling Legacy back in the mid game. But on the same token, Ejim has not been as impactful over the last few minutes. So for Legacy, they've got Baron. It's about a third of the time left standing. I actually wonder if that top inhibitor respawns and was taken down by Super Minions previously, actually. Wasn't even needed to take down by the champions. It definitely looks to be the case as it hasn't come up yet. So Legacy gonna retry this bottom lane siege. It didn't work out for them last time. They ate too many Dark Bindings, but they have multiple Banshees Veils this time, so that should reduce the threat of giving up unnecessary kills.
Slow reactions, Dark Passage. Fabulous is staying in that top lane against the Super Minions while the rest of Carbon and our crew move in towards this one. Remember, LGC, they don't hang around here. They're going straight in. That's going to be Kadra. Gets the shots on towards it. That's all they needed. Crystal M, again, going too deep. The rest of his team not on the same page. Minky Well taking all of the hits. He will get away. That's going to be Crystal M going down for Fabulous trying to get away. Kadra just doing all of the damage required and taking down the inhibitor.
Yeah, this should be game without Crystal M as a front line. The rest of Dark Passage are falling. Legacy are onto the Nexus turret, but here comes a giant crocodile. He's been caught.
Well, Nexus turret down for Fabulous gets focused. They quickly turn back onto the Nexus turret. That's all they want. That's all they care about. Taking the objectives down. The rest of Dark Passage trying their best to interfere. Ejim taken very, very low, but the second Nexus turret will drop. The Nexus is going to fall, and Legacy will take game one against Dark Passage. A fantastic start for the Aussies here at Gamescom.
Fell behind in the early stages of the game. Hell, they fell behind for the first 30 minutes of the game, but managed to find the right initiations around the Dragon and their jungle, and that allowed them to pull the game back in. We were touting Holy Phoenix coming into this matchup. He ended 0-2-8. The other side, Cardrid, 9-1-9. I was the one saying he played somewhat overly aggressive in the Oceania qualifiers, but he was very rarely under threat or out of position on his Cogmore this game.
And that's just it. He was on his own at the top for a long period of time. Remember Minky Well, then he was on his own against Holy Phoenix, and it just worked in their favor. Obviously, Fabulous, remember at the start, went for a long time with that buddy system, 5+ minutes in the jungle to help out. Didn't work out for them. They started off strong. They got a 5,000 gold advantage, 5,000. And still, Legacy came back. That is going to give them gigantic confidence in this tournament.
You have to question the Lucian pick and the Renekton itemization on the side of Dark Passage. And the reasoning for that, if you're going to go full tank Renekton, why not look for another pick? Why not look for a Shyvana who you can build full tank, who has more of a team fight presence that you can also then impact, give more time for the likes of your Xerath and your Lucian to put damage down if you're going to go that route. But Holy Phoenix and Lucian really did not have much of an impact. He had a fairly strong laning phase, and he did bully Codget around the few times we've seen him. But it didn't often result in kills. It didn't result in an overwhelming power spike, because Codget was just able to outscale him.
Yeah, fantastic start. And as I said, it's going to give them a hell of a lot of confidence. They were unsure going into that game, but they have represented their scene very, very well, considering they were the underdogs to squeak through. Everybody was expecting Immunity to be here, but instead, it is Legacy, and they are 1-0 at the top of the table right now, and the hot favourites, Dark Passage, taken down in game 1.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I was watching a lot of VODs from these teams to do research, to look into playstyle, look into decision-making, and I felt that Legacy was behind Dark Passage when it came to the decision-making and the strategy. But their aggression, while it cost them a few thousand gold early on, it wasn't enough to cost them the game. And all of a sudden, that aggression, look, it never stopped. Legacy never took their foot off the pedal.
If you think of the first team fight where they actually lost out, was a game. It was exactly how they turned the fights around. They did exactly the same thing, rinse, repeat, but it just didn't work out that once. That's what gave Dark Passage the 2-3 kill advantage, and set them behind in the first place. But, you know, they knew what they were doing, they knew what they wanted to do, and Alistair getting in, landing those 3-man pulverizes multiple times, certainly turned things around.
It has to be a consideration for a ban. I mean, Ejim, his performance on Alistair was fantastic in the mid-game. The number of 2-3-man knockups that literally turned objective fights, definitely one of the better Alistair performances we've seen in a long time.
Well, you've heard what we have to say. Let's hear what the analyst desk has to say. Over to Shox.
Thank you very much, D-Man. We just saw Legacy Esports defeat Dark Passage in a turnaround win, and now they're ahead of the table as well. And, well, these teams, they can brawl, they love to brawl, they love to fight. Let's go back to the beginning first, because in picks and bans, there was nothing really that was that special. Maybe the Zillion, but it's something we've gotten used to, actually.
Yeah, so pick-wise, very standard. It's what we see. Renekton was locked in by Dark Passage, a champion who's kind of fallen out of favor if you look at like Korea, Europe, and NA as well, but still locked in for Fabulous. Didn't work out too well, except for the early game where you had a good start. Alistar first picked surprised me a little bit. I would expected him to go top lane, but actually went for Ejim in the bottom lane, and again, you just 100% prioritize Alistar because you first pick him. It worked out because he was fantastic on it in their mid-game team fights.
Yeah, he really made a difference. Trevor said it there at the end. The amount of 2-3-man knockups that he pulled off was pretty incredible. At the start was out-leveled a little bit, which I think caused a bit more of a shaky start than Legacy would have hoped for, but overall his performance, top cow.
Yeah, well, a good point there from you that he just started to roam and started wanting to make plays from a very early level on when it wasn't necessarily the right time. We're actually going to take a look at one of the replays where Legacy Esports committed. They went in, let's get that up on the screen, and it wasn't exactly the right timing yet for them.
No, so early on, or pretty much the entire game from Legacy, they constantly wanted to team fight, they wanted to get some kills on the board. The issue they do have at this point is, first of all, they don't have any wards, so they can't really chase so far into the jungle of Dark Passage. We can actually just run the replay, and at the same time, once they fail to kill Touch, they invest a lot of time onto him, a lot of their spells, all the CC used from Ejim and Carbon onto trying to kill Touch. Doesn't work, he stays alive, Holy Phoenix joins in. Notice now Milky Way, he's gonna flash the wall, join in once again, but the tower is right here. You can't really tower dive at this point, and you already used all your CC. Ejim is very low, so it's an easy teleport from Fabulous. Come down, turn it around, and meanwhile in the mid lane, Choo-Choo's has issues against Naru in the early stages. He dies one-on-one. Naru comes in with the ulti as well to finish off Ejim here and get a double kill. So, very aggressive play by Legacy at the start, just over-aggressive.
Yeah, and we actually saw there, I don't know if you realize in the replay, that Xerath hit level 6 with the kill, which then gets set him up for that ultimate on that. And just overall, yes, the Xerath was doing a lot of work from, I think we can say earlier on, but a lot of those ultimates, we have to say, were not on point. There were 2 or 3 ultimates where at least 2, sometimes 3 of his charges of his ultimate didn't connect, and that was a lot of their damage. If Xerath doesn't hit shots, then you're gonna struggle.
That's the thing, they didn't actually, in team fights at least, Dark Passage, they never seemed very coordinated, and they didn't chain the CC and then use the Zerofold on whatever target was either binded or stunned by Renekton to get as much damage off as possible. But mid-game wise, or early to mid-game, it was still Dark Passage who did well. They had a lot of war control in the start, they got a lot of picks onto Legacy, and Also because we had Elise building Spirit of the Ancient Golem, which means you're going to be strong in team fights, but their early game you kind of lose out on the AP and some of the skirmish power. At the same time, Zillion in the mid lane building Tia and Athenes, which means you need to kind of stack it up, you need to get your mana items going before you get any AP, so they were weaker for the first like 15 minutes. Once they got the items completed, once they got into team fights, however, they were just so much stronger.
Yeah, actually nothing changed. They like to fight throughout the entire game, but as you said, when the Kog'Maw was picking up a couple of kills, then you have a Zillion who can just revive him when he dies in a fight. It's perfect. And let's actually take a look at one of the team fights that were on a little bit later in the game. Let's get that replay up on the screen, where both teams just go ham once again.
Yeah, so this was my main issue with Dark Passage and the way they played the game. Because if you do notice, they have very few wards on the map at this point. They had a lot in the start where they got the picks they wanted, and then all of a sudden, Legacy just took full control of the map. And at the same time, if you notice on your minimap, Renekton at this point is not with his team. He's actually behind Legacy, which means as soon as they engage onto Dark Passage, he's not part of the fight at all. And this happened for Dark Passage so many times where there were like 4 members that were out of position. We can just roll the clip here. Very nice engage coming in from EGM, hitting 2 members again, and just instantly blow them up. Get the 2 first kills. Once again, notice Fatbull is on Renekton. He's not even part of the fight. Now he has to run away. We can just roll it normal speed because but just cleaning up the kills now, Naro in the very end. And Dark Passage in these mid-late game team fights, they almost seem like a team who's too used to winning the early game and just kind of snowball the game and just do whatever you want to win. Because as soon as Legacy put up a fight, Dark Passage just crumbled. They were never in position, never had enough wards, and always just got engaged on by Legacy and died.
And took some fights that they probably shouldn't have taken, you know? If we looked at the one around Baron, one guy dies, and then the rest of the team somehow decide, okay, now is our time to shine and start to move in for the fight there as well. And I think, as you mentioned, that if we look at especially the games in Turkey and some of the recent solo queue games, 25, 30 minutes, all of them, except just a couple in there. So maybe that is a factor for them. They're used to being far enough ahead that 1 or 2 dodgy team fight decisions doesn't cost you that much because you're so far ahead and you can win them anyway.
Yeah, of course, this was only the first game for them, so we will see if that is something that they can change going into the next games here today. But Legacy Esports, I remember last year it was Immunity here on the stage. It also did very well those first moments. They're dealing with the pressure very well. Can they keep this up?
If they keep playing like they did here and they keep team fighting the way they did, sure. Because for me, Dark Passage was the favorite going into the tournament, also because they had experience from last year, experience in front of the big crowd in Turkey, so they're used to sitting on stage. But they simply lost out in mid to late game team fights.
Yeah, and in theory, Russian Forces team fights shouldn't be as strong, you might argue, as the 2 teams we've just seen there because of the fact that they've got 3 new players in. It takes a long time to get your synergy to a level where you can team fight perfectly. They've got to be a little bit careful about laning phase, though. Falling too far behind could still cost them later on. We'll see about that.
We will see, indeed. We have to step away, but when we come back, Legacy Esports will face off against Russian Force as the International Wildcard Qualifier continues.
Wait, do your Christopher Walken impression.
What you gotta do? Let's get a free-range chicken.
What you gotta do?
Treat the animal with respect.
This is gonna be a massive fight.
And Holy Phoenix is the starter. He's in trouble. A great pulverize from EGM there. Manages to catch on towards him.
The AoE from Naru is high.
Touch caught out. He goes down. That's a second as well as the Crystal Emgus taken down. Not quite able to finish this one off. But again, they've got themselves 2.